quite cold today. 60. Feels like it's almost maybe in the high 40s. Again, the weather is just so weird here. Hang on. Does not feel like Michigan. I mean, logically it shouldn't, but 7:30 in the morning, later than I usually walk, but my Thai wife's got a up. That's one of her cousins, one of her many cousins that live everywhere here. He's nice. That's the guy his wife left him for a Falan. He's shockingly nice and JD with me. You would think he could blame me for that in some way by association, and he doesn't. So they're generally a very JD people. We talk about saving face because I think that's really the big driver here. I mean, after my massive just 1 year of living here and a year or so or whatever of studying the culture and language in addition to that, I mean, whatever, but I'm just noticing that you could kind of take almost everything that happens here and you could kind of relate it back to, well, how is the person saving face or not? I guess at the moment I'm just sort of thinking about like your pay grade for dating. Like, I think it's smart to look at how is your lady saving face. Look at yourself and look at her. Physically, sure. We'll talk about that in a minute, but in every way, financial needs, kids, family, position in life, social status, all of those are going to matter here. Anyone who's a regular viewer of the channel's probably figured out I live in a really low-end apartment here. And I've thought about getting something nicer. I just don't care. I'm comfortable. I have a comfortable chair. I can read. And so let's look back at the dating again. Assuming you're an older guy, if you're retiring here, you're probably older, or coming here, you're probably older. I don't see too many guys under 50 for sure. I'm kind of one of the youngest, really. I mean, I got one friend who's 42, smart as hell to be doing that at that age. She's saving so much money. A lot of us are dating, I don't know, an average of 15 years younger, which isn't really a huge age difference here in my opinion. I think I looked it up, a couple different websites had different numbers all over the place, not shockingly. I don't know whose numbers you could possibly go by. The average, in big fat massive air quotes, age difference is somewhere around 5 years. So great. So if the average is 5 years, there's a lot of people where the woman's older than the man, and then you got a lot where they're the same age, and 1 in 10, 1 in 5, whatever, is the age difference is not 5 years, the age difference is 15, and for an expat it's definitely typically more like that. And that's because we bring a lot of baggage, I'm gonna say baggage, but stuff with us, good and bad, when we date. Oh, I just realized I forgot my shucks. Oh well, hope I'm okay. Some people will look down on a Thai woman and gossip her for dating a foreign man. I'm always talking about the positives. Oh, come here and immerse, and the woman will love you, and that's generally super true. There are some people out there, I don't know if it's jealousy driven or not, but I can just tell you it will happen. Your Thai lady will get the tuk, the look cheap, the look down on from other Thai women, some other Thai women, for dating you. Now, I think that's more, this is my conjecture here, but I think that's more if she's not saving face by dating you. Some, I think, are just it's a cultural thing, and they're just gonna not like the fact that she's not with a good Thai man, quote unquote, and she's picked some crappy foreign guy that they think all foreign guys are crappy, and there's people like that. Call that whatever you want to call it, I guess. But you've got to look at the saving face aspect. So when you're kind of sizing up a potential relationship, if again, you're 62, maybe an average age here. I see a lot of guys 65, something like that. The girl's 20 years younger than you, and she's smoking hot, doesn't have kids, doesn't really need money. you know, why is she picking you? You want to kind of know the answer to that. Like, what's in it for her? When I used to do my business presentations, we had one of the, God, a really smart guy. I hired him as a hired gun to come in and help make big sales. Smartest thing I ever did. Guy was a freaking sales genius. It was WIIF, whatever. What's in it for, whoever. When we sold Home Depot, it was WIIFHD. And the last page of his presentation is, I'm like, what is with it, or whatever. And, and he's like, what's in it for Home Depot? I'm like, oh. And I never thought about it. It's so obvious, but what's in it for the other side? Why would they buy my product? Why would they have bought that? Why is she buying you, so to speak? What's in it for her? And I'm not saying I've got it answered or figured out. In my case, I think it's because she's got 2 boys and she needs a father figure for the boys. That I've had a couple times I've asked her and caught her off guard. And a real quick knee-jerk reaction was, and I think she would not have had time to make up an answer that sounded nice, was just, she needed a father figure for her boys. And her primary focus is her boys. I'm always saying they care about the mom more than the kids, and I've seen that so much of the time. In my lady's case, her mother's doing okay. Her mother's healthy. She's only 7 years older than me. They live a harder life here. There'd be an apparent age difference that would look maybe a bit bigger, but she's only 7 years older than me. She's healthy, relatively speaking, and they have enough money they're able to keep their house, eat, and do things, and put gas in their car. They're getting by, and they seem to be, I'm going to call that the Thai version of comfortable. There's no crisis, so maybe she doesn't need to worry about her mom. But she really worries about her boys. Again, that's a whole other baggage, but anyway, so there's that. I think she feels, from reading between the lines and from various things she said, in my case, going back to staying on that case study for a minute, she's felt a loss of face and social status by not having a man. Here in this area, it does seem like having a phalang is a positive. That could be by village, by region, I don't know. But here, definitely I can tell you by how she's getting gossiped, getting jealous comments, getting jealous reactions from people, etc., etc. I can tell you that it seems to be a positive to have a phalang guy, and I think it's generally that way. I think it's way more than half the time. I think it's the overwhelming majority. I don't know. I have no access to that knowledge. Like, there's no way I could know that. But I think most of the time is what I hear. It's a real positive. Again, I think it's just more of an individual by individual basis. Some people will think they've broken the culture and they've sold out. That's sort of the impression I've gotten from a couple people who've explained it to me. So I think that's just on an individual basis. But staying with my lady, financial. I loan her and her family money and they pay me back. She's slow to pay back. I hope she doesn't read that part and understand it, but she does pay back. She's always paid back. And I don't pressure her. And there's been no large amounts of money. Nothing big. Way less than the value of a motorcycle. Stuff like that. In total. So not at any one time. I wouldn't loan that much at any one time. That's way too much. But 10,000 baht here or there. That's kind of what we're talking about. And I do that. I help her daily budget. Buying food for her, buying dinner for her and her boys. So most days, not always, but most days she'll come to me for buying food for her and her boys. I pay for the extra education I've talked about. That's a big deal. She couldn't afford that before. That's an extra several thousand baht a month. It's not a lot. It's less than 10% of my monthly budget, I think. Yeah, it would be less than 10% of my monthly budget of about 45,000 baht total. that I generally is my base budget, not including like special purchases. If I need like winter clothes, I don't include that in my monthly. That's like my monthly living expense, my burn rate, whatever you want to call it. And on top of that, if I buy earbuds or a motorcycle, that's not included in my monthly expenses. That's just how I think of it. I don't know. I'm tracking the total, and the total is palatable, and I'm not being hurt financially here. So I just keep going ahead. I seem to be okay. And I have one more pension coming, hopefully very soon. So that will make all this kind of a joke financially for me. So, you know, I'm not a money guy, so I don't really care. I'm not salivating at the prospect of buying a car. I don't want to own a car. I gotta wash it. I gotta park it. I gotta insure it. I gotta worry about it. Right now I don't want any baggage. That's my word today, baggage apparently. But I don't want to worry about stuff. I just want to live and work on my pain levels, and I don't really care about everything else right now. Well, this is going to have to be another two-parter. That's my conversation on saving face and practically rambling on about everything else. In the background, that chainsaw is Coon Paw, by the way. No, thank you for supporting my YouTube channel. Thank you very much.